Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I understand how frustrating wrist pain and hand pain can be and how it affects your day-to-day living activities. So I put together this awesome stretch routine that you can do anywhere at any time to get natural pain relief in your wrists and hands. So let's go ahead and get started with these stretches so you can get rid of these cranky fingers, hands, and wrists. Make sure you're sitting nice and upright at the tip of your chair. So you're going to come a little bit forward. You're going to make sure you have your sit bones placed on the chair. So no tail tucking, no slouching. You want to avoid that. Make sure that you're seated on those sit bones. The spine is lengthened, the shoulders are rolled back, and the head is over your shoulders. Try to avoid the bad posture, which usually causes that compression into the front of your body, which leads into your hands. We'll be practicing with concept of fascia line relief. So we'll have some nice anatomical visuals for you to understand what it is that's going on as you're stretching. So now that you're seated upright, the spine lengthened and the head balanced over the shoulders, you're going to go ahead and open your arms down to the side. Your chest is going to broaden, your shoulders are going to roll back, and you're going to start to open your hands very big, as if you're stretching every finger away from each other. You can stretch the arms a little further back. You should start to feel stretches into your chest, into your biceps, into your forearms. The elbows are lengthened and those fingers are open, very big, stretching away from each other. You're expanding and opening your palms up. Go ahead and pull them back a little further and start to point the thumbs back a little bit in external rotation. Lift the eye gaze a bit, lift the chest a bit. These are your frontal fascia lines. It connects all the way to your palms, to your fingertips, your wrist. Look straight, neutral. Pull the arms back even further, get the biggest stretch you can get. And then release. You're going to place the left hand on top of your knee. You're going to reach that right hand back again, as far as you can get it. Don't shrug your shoulders, relax the shoulders down. The hands are very big. We're stretching the wrists. This requires you to open these hands, which are used to texting and being on computers all day. So get happy hands, big hands, open. Now you're going to flex your wrist back. Your fingers are going to point back. And you're going to start to look towards the left side. You're going to breathe. You're going to keep that nice posture in the upper body. And then to access the wrist, we have to release the neck muscles, the chest, the bicep, the forearms. The fingers, the wrists, are a distal point. So there's other muscles that get tight that cause tension and tightness into that wrist. Hold it here for one more deep breath. Wrist is pointing, wrist is flexing back. And then release. Shake that arm off. Bring your left hand over towards your right ear. Don't pull on your head. Don't hurt yourself now. Left palm on top of the head on the right side by the ear. You gently guide the head over to the left side. And then you're going to relax your right shoulder down and away from your ear and flex the wrist. The fingertips point up. Practice some nice deep breathing. There's nothing else to do when you're holding stretches. So the fingertips are nice and stretched open. The thumb is nice and open also. The palm is flexed. The wrist is flexed. Woo. Take one more deep breath here. You have to hold it for a second to really release all these tight muscles that get compressed. Release. Shake that arm off. Let's go to the other side. Right hand on top of that right thigh. You're going to go ahead and lengthen the arm back. The palm is facing forward. You're going to draw that arm back. You're going to look towards the right. So we have a rotational stretch into the neck. Once the arm is reached back far enough, you flex that wrist. So you kind of point your fingers back. You really want to open that hand up. Now I'm sure you can feel the fascia line stretching. What that means is you feel your chest, you feel your bicep, you feel your forearm, which leads to your wrist and hands. Keep looking towards that right shoulder. Keep stretching those fingers apart. Give yourself 2 deep breaths here. Inhaling here deeply. 1 last deep breath. And then you'll release back to the center. Right hand over towards that left ear. Stretch it to the side gently. Lengthen that left shoulder away from the ear. Remember, you're just guiding the head. You're not tugging on it. Don't hurt yourself now. Don't mess with that idle hand. We have that flexion where the palm is flexed. The fingers are stretched up. The fingers are pulling away from each other. The shoulder is rolled back. The head is leaning to the side. And you're lengthening that arm, that palm down. Once again, feeling all of these lines that interconnect into your wrist. Remember, we have to hold it for a few breaths, so just keep breathing. If you feel a rush coming down into your arms, a little bit of tingling, that is normal. There's a lot of nerves in the front of the shoulders too. I'll put the imagery up in the description so you can see it. Or you'll see it up in the video, the anatomy description. Release. Shake those shoulders off. You're going to go ahead, interlace the hands, interlace the fingers. Turn the palms forward. Reach the arms up. And then go ahead and side stretch to the right side. Look a little to the left, lengthening those arms. Don't shrug the shoulders too much. You're kind of just leaning the head. The hands are in that stretch flex position. So you're maximizing the wrist stretch by opening into the side body, the armpit area. Take another deep inhale here. Return to center, over to the other side, looking towards the other arm, the right arm, leaning to the left. Keeping those fingers interlaced, keeping those arms pretty lengthened. Remember, don't shrug your shoulders. Don't stress yourself. One more deep breath here. Release center. Hands stay interlaced. Place them behind the neck. And you gently look up. Relax your elbows open. Relax your head into your palms. And take about 2 deep breaths here. Letting yourself naturally recline back. Remember, we're stretching through fascia lines, so that means we're going to get a little extra bonus, which is opening of chest, opening of shoulders, stretching of bicep, neck. Gently release. Release the hands, make a fist, and then roll the wrist around. Gently. Roll it in one direction. Soften your shoulders. Don't scrunch them up. And then roll them in another direction, warming them up. We are going to stretch the hands, but we are getting warmed up. One more time over another way. Circles over the other side. Circles. Then release. And you have hands nice and open, of course. Get them hands big. Text hands, mouse hands as I call them. And then the palms very big and open. You're going to put them on the top of your glutes, lower back area. So the hands stay very big. Chest is very open. And you try to lift the upper body a little bit. You lift the eye gaze up, the chin up a bit. You take an expansive deep breath here. Keep those shoulders open. Keep those hands placed on that low back, glute level. Bring them close towards each other in the back. One more deep breath here. Release. Palms facing forward again, wrist flex, and then the hands come right on the side of your hip. I really enjoy all these chest openers, shoulder openers, and when the wrists are very cranky, sometimes you don't want to attack the wrist directly. You can work through fascia lines, which is stretching of chest, front shoulder, bicep, and you will release that tension into the wrist. I learned this a lot when I was working in therapy, sports therapy. A lot of people with wrist pain. Fingertips are nice and open, palms are very big, the wrists are on the side of your hips. Big stretch here, one more deep inhale. Posture is going to improve also. So many bonuses in this stretch. And then release. Shoulders roll. Hands, you're gonna face them just like this. You may or may not be able to do this. Even if you get the fingertips to stretch, it's okay. So you're going to bring hands, palms facing forward, on the low back. Tight. Maybe you get to kind of like almost the palm. You don't have to get the wrist on the glutes, but you're kind of trying to get your fingertips into that low back area, into that lower hip area, and you're going to rest them there for a second. Another big shoulder and chest opener, and you can immediately feel that stretch into your wrist, hands, and fingers. This is our final of the chest openers, and then we're just gonna focus on massaging the hands and the fingers and moving the wrist, opening them up. But we had to release these fascia lines, these important tension points. One more deep breath. Release. Shake them off. Blood flow. All right, and now we get to really move these guys. Okay, so don't reach forward. Keep your arms in towards you. Left palm, flex forward. Most juicy finger, thumb. We use these a lot to text. So with your other hand, your peace fingers, gently pull on that thumb. You're going to breathe. Try to stretch it long and open. Go to the other side, go to the other finger. You have your index. Get it nice and stretched open. Remember, your wrist is in flexion. Don't pull on it too much. You're gonna feel that you can't go very far. These are joints. There's ligaments and tendons here. It's not a huge muscle group like a quad or a glute, okay? Can't force these stretches. Middle. Ooh. Getting that hand open, breathing deeply. Ring. Breathing, inhaling and exhaling. This is great for carpal tunnel. When the wrist is very sore, if you do yoga and you're on your hands a lot, this is good. If you text or you're on your phone for work a lot, if you sit on the computer all day, the hands end up being, obviously, we use them a lot, so pinky. So you want to give them some nice treatment, a little bit of love, a little bit of stretch. Breathing. And then release. Shake this left one off. We have the right one. And depending on which is your dominant hand, you may feel more stretches on one side than the other. I've suffered some pretty bad injuries on my knuckles and my wrist. So these stretches I feel a lot, especially on that right side. So we're gonna start with the thumb, pulling it back. You can feel the tightness here. This is our little gamer thumb. This is my gamer thumb at least, because I like gaming, so you can never skip thumb day. Breathing, inhaling and exhaling. The index, pulling it back. The middle, go ahead. Ooh, may or may not get some nice pops in there. It happens sometimes, so that's nice. You're inhaling and exhaling, breathing. You're still keeping that nice posture, so don't lose your posture. Poor posture is what causes a lot of compression in the shoulders, in the neck, which causes a lot of radiating pain, nerve pain into the hands, the digits. We do have nerves in our cervical spine and they get compressed with poor posture, and sometimes even stress can cause a lot of neck pain. You have the ring, pulling it back. So we take all these factors into consideration and we never directly blame the wrist. We have to understand that there's other areas that do get tight and there is posture that affects upper body tension and tightness. So you can't always blame the wrist, or hand pain. It's coming from somewhere else usually, in my experience. And then pinky, stretch here. Breathing, inhaling and exhaling. This is something that I see happen a lot with my older clients, where you can just see that their hands literally shrivel up. It's so important to practice stretches for your hands, especially now in modern times. We don't want to end up with shriveled hands, literally. It could happen. And then release. Roll those wrists, move it around. You're gonna go ahead, grab that little space where you feel kind of the wrist end and the actual hand joint begin. Soft, do not grip it hard. And then movement. That little gentle placement of your fingers is going to help you create a little space in there, in between that. And then just roll gently. Feel if there's any kind of like cracking or little popping there. And then release, switch it over to the other side. Wrist here. Remember, each side is different, so it will depend on which hand you use the most, your dominant arm. Or if you have had injuries in the wrists or in the hands before, be gentle. If you hear a little bit of crunchies, that's okay. You're not doing anything stressful, so you're good. And then release. Move the wrist around, palms open, flow the hands. And then interlace them. And then press them forward for real now. Fingers are stretching, palms are stretching. And then release them. Very gentle with this. Relax the wrist down. Do not force the wrist. Very soft stretch down. So soft, so gentle. I'm barely applying pressure. Do not hurt yourself now. And then other side. Soft. Breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Always remind yourself to breathe. The breathing helps unlock a lot of tension in the mid-back and upper back. But that's for another day. Breathing decompression. Release, roll the wrist around. Hands very open. Flex the wrist up as if you're trying to push something up. Stretch the fingers apart. Release the tension. Move it around. Interlace your hands behind the back. Lengthen your arms, elbows straight. Make a fist with your hands. Gently look up. Stretch that chest once more. Inhale and exhale deeply. Release. Shake it off. massaging the hands, massaging that thumb area. I recommend focusing mostly on that thumb because that is the one that gets very tight. If you're a little bit older, this is something that you want to work on, just opening your hands. For the seniors, trying to get those thumbs to expand and open again, it can get very tight and in, okay? So you have hand open, and then you're going to massage straight into the center of that thumb muscle that you feel there. Okay? Apply pressure that's gentle because you don't want to overstress the hand that you're using to massage, okay? It's a quick little round massaging. Then you're gonna grab your fingers and kind of push between here, making space between the thumb and then switch other side. Thumb massaging, rolling it around. It's good to give yourself self-myofascia release. You know, we can do these simple exercises and stretches at home that keep us out of the emergency state or out of a doctor's office. You don't have to wait that long to give yourself a stretch in the hand or get some relief into your wrist. Anyways, they're probably gonna tell you to do physical therapy, so you gotta do the work. Thumb, and then you grip in between spaces, gentle on the hand that you're using to massage. Got that little gap there. I'm gonna have a close up there so you can see. Okay. Shake it off because the self-massaging can make you a little bit sore too. You use too much pressure. Roll these wrists around. Move it around. Palms face to the front. Palms face down. Arms to the side. Chest open. Big open chest. Stretch those fingertips apart. So much looser than when we started. Open the upper body up. Fix that poor posture. Release that tension in the chest. That leads to the bicep, forearms, and hands. Even this one's a great one on its own. Big inhale here, looking straight. And we're done. Good job. I hope this helps you and helps your wrist. Remember, you can do this anywhere at any time to get natural pain relief for your wrist and hands. Check out the other videos where we focus on alignment. Go ahead, subscribe, like, show me some love. Drop a comment if you have any questions or if you have any requests.